Carl, in flying form altogether last night. We have Nicky Byrne in our Dublin studio. Nicky, there must have been huge excitement coming up to the show last night.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know, I mean, I think you couldn't get away from the ads on TV over Christmas. So a reminder all the time. But Dancing with the Stars is such a warm entertainment show. If you look at Strictly in the UK or Dancing with the Stars in the States, or I think it's in 42 countries in the world. And everybody loves it because, unlike a singing show, you know, nobody's trying to be the best singer, or people at home going, or I don't like her voice, or anything like that. These are people we know from other areas who are really challenging themselves to do so and learn something. And you saw Des there. I mean, we know Des. He's so likeable. He's so lovable. But he was almost emotional last night because he was so relieved and overwhelmed that it went well. Because some of his rehearsals hadn't gone so great. But when he finished, you know, his adrenaline, his heart was beating from his chest. We could feel it. And it's like that for all of them. So, you know, it was a great start, and I was so chuffed for all of them, but in particular Des, because it meant a lot to him, you know.
I think it's amazing because I feel that dancing by nature is uplifting, ballroom dancing. There's such a resurgence in it again, and I think we're embracing a little bit of glamour of olden times as well when we see these shows. And I think it's actually a great start to the new year to have a show like this on. But I mean, looking at the other guys, I mean, Des is up against some very young fellas. Daryl.
Yeah, Darren, yeah, you've Des Bishop, you've Aidan O'Mahony, a Kerry footballer. Like, you're talking about very fit guys here, Nicky.
Yeah, and I think as Des Cal pointed out himself last night, he was, you know, he's the older, I suppose the oldest one there, and he's a bit paranoid by that. He's a bit paranoid that the younger guys have, I don't know, maybe a bit of an advantage over him. But I suppose that's not really what the show is, you know. People vote for who they feel is working the hardest, who they feel is giving it their best shot, learning the quickest. And I suppose the best dancer mixed with, you know, the quickest learner and the hardest working. And there's Dale. I mean, that Charleston last night, Dale was... He was pretty good, but Dale he's a hip-hop star, you know. He can dance, he can backflip. But that's not going to help him when he gets into the waltz or when he gets into the tango or the foxtrot or... I need to read the Argentine tango, for example, the jive. There's Aidan there. I mean, Aidan is the guy, by the way. I showed my wife.
I think he was good.
I showed Georgina, I filmed the rehearsals on my phone the night before, and I showed Georgina, my wife, and she was like, oh, who's he now? You know, I didn't see him in the paper when they announced it, so...
All of a sudden, Georgina's a great GAA head. Georgina's like queen of GAA out of that.
Nicky, do you know, when we often try to put men against women in life, and I think it'll come down to this as well, but I think if you look at the lads, because all we saw last night were all the lads,
guys,
right?
Yeah.
They're all used to performing on big stages in front of live audiences, whether it's football, Des Cal commentating, or the lads from Oldham, or you have Des Bishop in front of live crowds as well. I think the lads may have an advantage when it comes to that.
You're right, actually. You know, they probably do, but if you look at, you know, what everybody does, everybody's used to being under some sort of pressure. You know, I suppose when you're acting, if you look at Denise or Avian, they're used to having to know a script, getting in front of the camera and delivering. So everybody will have something over each other. Everyone will have an advantage in some area. I mean, you know, you look at Talia, she's on catwalks. If you look at who else, you know, Catherine Lynch is used to being on TV. And Theresa Mannion, live TV, she gets the countdown. So, you know, Dr. Ava, again, has been on TV. So everybody's got something, and it's how they all can cope with their nerves. Because, and I can tell you, because I've done the show in England, when they say your name and when they say dancing the cha-cha-cha, you know, Nicky Byrne or whoever, you do have that moment, probably, you know, like going live on TV. You know, it's like, oh, God, why have I put myself up for this?
Like
you know, so...
But, Nicky, yourself and Amanda's well together, I think you're great. I think it's great that you have that background, but Amanda's used to big shows as well. So you guys, straight away, it's so important to have a good yin and yang with the two of you as well on stage, and you seem to be having great fun together.
Oh, listen, Amanda's great. And again, we both presented and we both done different things. And I think my experience in Westlife on big stages, big TV shows, obviously helps me. Amanda has done a gazillion shows around the world, in America, in the UK, obviously back here. So, you know, we've kind of hit it off. And we were both nervous last night, don't get me wrong. I mean, like we said, a lot of hype. You know, but still, we had to walk out there and deliver, you know, some pieces of the camera and get us off to a strong start. And then when they come up to me, you know, I'm their friend and I'm always going to have their back. And there's a great party atmosphere up in that kind of area that I stand in. But all in all, we were delighted with a great start. You know?
One quick question before we go, Nicky, who's going to win it?
Oh, God, it's very early to ask you this, Nicky.
Well, the prices are good now, you see.
Do you know, I'm a firm believer, and I've been on the UK show and I watched the UK show, and now that we have it here, firstly, can I say everyone's working so hard and everyone's delivering, from the lighting guys, production, you name it. But to win it, I'm not always sure it's the best dancer.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
it's somebody who's a very good dancer and gets better, and the public relate to, and they know you can't cheat the public. You can't not go to rehearsals. You've got to turn up and work hard.
So you're not going to tell us?
No.
As the weeks go on, we'll squeeze it out. Nicky, thanks a million. We'll be talking to you, of course, as time goes on as well.
Cheers, guys.
Well.